Welcome to the BA Coaches Show, where we talk all things Nebraska sports all the time. Interviews, breakdowns, rants, and more. Expect it all from the Nebraska diehard, Coach Ben Audi. Make sure you click the like, subscribe, or follow button and enjoy this conversation about our beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Welcome, everybody, to the BA Coaches Show. I know this is coming out a few days late, and I do have to apologize. I've had a little bit of a rough week medically. I have what's called a hiatal hernia, like right in my chest stomach area, and it's been kind of hard to record stuff and talk. I have a voice again, so I just decided to delay it a couple days because it was a mess. If you don't know what it is, Google it, I guess. But yeah, better late than never, right? Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube, follow on all the socials at the BA Coaches Show. We are starting to make real traction everywhere. We've hit over 600 subscribers on YouTube now. We're right at 600 followers on Twitter. So this is awesome stuff. Thank you to everybody that watches. It is amazing to me that people tune into this show and like listen to my thoughts on things. Like it kind of blows my mind still. So working on some cool things. Next week we're going to do a bye-week special with some guests. Might put out a couple episodes, I don't know. We're going to see how they go. I don't know if the guests want to be on together or if they do separately. We'll drop them. Might drop a few next week, just bye-week specials. You're going to get my mid-season reviews, do all that. But this video is just going to basically focus on the Rutgers game. But before we get into the Rutgers game, again, make sure you go check out characterchronicles.com. Go check out all the great Husker content on there, including the BA Coaches Show. That's on there, so make sure you go check it out. Make sure you check me out every Monday morning on 1620 The Zone. I'm excited to be on there again on Monday to just talking about the Indiana game. We're going to also talk about Indiana next week. So be sure to check all of that stuff out. But with that, let's talk a little bit about Rutgers, right? Well, a win is a win, in my opinion. And being 5-1 is a really great feeling for me. Like I keep saying, like the last time this happened, I was literally in high school. So this is the first time in my adult life I've been able to enjoy this stuff, right? You can't be 6-0. Waking up 5-1 is the next best thing. I've stolen that from someone and I don't know where, but hey, I heard it from a coach somewhere, so I'm stealing it. You're not 6-0, but waking up 5-1 is the next best thing. There are some things that concern me, right? And we're going to get into those a little bit today, and then also like a full, next week. There are some things that concern me about this team. However, 5-1 is 5-1, baby. You know what I mean? Like, as Nebraska fans, we can't be spending the last however many years just begging and begging and begging, right? To just, hey, I just want to make a bowl game, or hey, I just want to win some of these close games. Guess what, man? We're doing it. We're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in a position as fans to brag about the games not being pretty. You know what I mean? It's just win, baby. I say that all the time, and that's what I'm sticking with right now. I do truly believe that past year's teams would have found ways to lose this game, and like the Purdue game. Like, I think this Rutgers game in past years would have been lost if the special teams, we're going to get into that, but if the special teams do as terribly as they did, right, and the offense couldn't get going, I do truly believe that situationally we would have crumbled and given up some BS and would have been ugly, and then we would have ended up losing, right? But not this year's team. And something that I'm going to play a video here in a sec that I really took from Coach Rule, and I do truly believe this, is like last year after the like, the Michigan game, that ended up being really bad, and we saw some quitting, and that was like a real, oh crap, we still got a long way to go. And I don't think that's what happened in the Illinois game. I don't think that they quit, and I think that it was kind of their wake up call of, hey man, we're tight right now. We gotta find a way when these games get close, when things start going bad. There's no reason to freak out. There's no reason to do this. There's no reason to melt down. No reason to get extra tight. Let's just go out there and play Nebraska football, and we've seen that. And I can't even say it any better. I'm just gonna let Coach Rule say it.
Last year after Michigan, it was like, I will not tolerate quitting. That's all that message was. It was, you can lose. We don't want to lose. But people are not spending their money to come to a game and watch us lay down. That is just not happening. And we certainly didn't quit against Illinois. I just think against Illinois it was, again, kind of that, hey, get to the moment. It's a little tight.
I kind of agree. I like it. And I really love that message from Matt Rule being like, hey, people don't come to these games to watch us quit. I can't speak for anybody else. That got me fired up. I love this, man. I've been talking about it on Twitter recently I have completely rethought and kind of redone a lot of my coaching and how I want to coach and who I want to be as a coach because of Matt Rule. I got the privilege at a coaching clinic, spend like 10, 15 minutes in the back of a room talking to Matt Rule. And I'm not going to say, oh, it changed my life, but like it changed the way that I believe in coaching. It changed the way I am as a coach, right? And I have started to redo a lot of like my coaching thing. And like, I'm a weird guy. I have like ideas for like rebuilding high school football programs or like what I could do as a college coach. Just, I'm never going to be a college football coach, but like if it ever did happen, I'm a weird guy. I like to have ideas, right? And I'm redoing so much of that to like listen to Matt Rule. Like I have so many quotes from Matt Rule in his press conferences and pregame speeches like saved that I'm going to start finding more better ways to incorporate that into my everyday life. Matt Rule already did impact my life whenever he told me like you need to find your why as a coach. You need to find your why. Not what you do as a coach. Find why do you coach? And why is coaching important to you? And I needed this season off after having that conversation with him. I needed this season off to really understand that why. I think a lot of the reasons that I was coaching was to prove a lot of MFers wrong, right? And that's okay. That was a hell of a motivator. It brought me to some big heights. But that's not ultimately not why I should have been a coach. And I listened. He said, everyone's going to be chasing all these different jobs. Everyone's going to chase all the money, chase all the glory. But you need to be able to look yourself in the eyes and say, why are you coaching? Matt Rule told me that to my face. And I did a lot of deep reflection and I got out of coaching for a year. I have not coached a football game since last November, closing in on a year. And I'm ready to be back. That's what I found out is I'm ready to be back. And I appreciate Matt Rule. And like I said, I'm one of the biggest Matt Rule fans in the world. Sure, maybe it makes me biased sometimes, but he's my boy. So I'm gonna rock with him forever. But let's talk about some football, right? When it comes to, we're going to go through all three phases of the game, and then we're going to get the BA breakdown. We're going to get out of here. This might be a shorter episode, but we got a lot of good stuff coming. Like I said, I've been kind of sick and just dealing with this stuff all week and like 4 prescriptions, and it's been a mess. But we're going to get through this episode. When it comes to the offense, I am very conflicted, okay? I'll be real. I am so conflicted. We have so much talent on the offense, and a lot of times the play design and the creativity is so good. It's so good from Marcus Satterfield, man. I like some of the play like that fake jet reverse, like that screen over, like that was beautiful. That sweep to Bonner was insane, right? And we've had some of those all throughout the year. But then sometimes some of the situational play calling, I'm just like, I don't know. Again, I try not to be very critical of coaches because I've been a coach where people have been pretty critical of, right? But I do think some of the criticisms are fair though. Dylan Raiola played like a true freshman, right? I think he played like a true freshman playing against a very well coached Big Ten defense for the first time. And I think this game was needed for him as well. I say he is pretty much elite at everything, except there's two things that I think are getting a lot better: his footwork and especially his eyes, where his eyes are at on the field. They're getting a lot better under Glenn Thomas, but they're not there. They're not elite yet. Everything about him is elite. So this is me nitpicking. I don't want this to come across as me like, but like this is me nitpicking here of like, hey, if you want to be like the elite of the elite in the next 3 years, like we got to fix these couple things. And I think that's happening. I'm not saying it's not. So it's fine. This game was needed. I think this was by far the best coach defense that Raiola's faced. I think they Rutgers did a lot of interesting things. They on that RPO, he didn't see the guy, he threw it right in his chest. And that was a lot of eyes too. If you go back and look at that play, there was a lot of eyes on that too. I didn't include that in my BA breakdown today, but maybe I should have. Maybe I'll do that in the midseason review of some negatives of like, hey, we gotta correct these eyes a little bit. But overall on offense, I feel conflicted because we have so much talent. We've made so many good plays throughout the year, but we're still missing that identity that we've talked about the last couple weeks. We're missing that offensive identity. And what I mean by that is there's going to be games, there's going to be another game this year where things are not going your way. What is your bread and butter that you can get back to? Sorry, I had to cough real quick. What's your bread and butter that you can get back to, right? I don't think we have that figured out right now. For a run first team is, hey, we're going to line up, we're going to run ISO, we're going to run power, we're going to run inside zone, whatever your bread and butter is. I don't think we figured that out. Hey, if you're going to be a pass first team, hey, we feel really good about our quick game here. We're going to feel really good about our inside slant. Hey, we're going to feel really good as soon as we recognize that nickel's blitz and we're slanting right behind it. Hey, we're going to hit a bubble right here. Hey, we're going to RPO the crap out of you. I don't think we have that yet. And we're at the halfway point of the season. So I know it's flown by. Like to me, I'm like, holy crap, we're already 6 games in. But like we are 6 games in, so we got to have that part figured out. I think that's a real criticism. That's fine. I think it's fair, and I am sure that those conversations are still happening in house. So I don't think it's crazy for me to say that. Moving on to the defense. That, in my opinion, was a legendary performance by the Black Shirts. The Black Shirts are real, and the Black Shirts are back, baby. I feel very strongly about that. That was a bounce back game. They had a bounce back game against Purdue, but it's Purdue, you know? You can only play who you play, but let's see him against dog. Black Shirts are real. Can't lie to you. That goal line stand was insane, legendary. My goodness, I included part of that in the BA breakdown we'll get to because my Lord, that was insane. It was legendary. Tony White had a fantastic game. The film study done by the defensive staff that was relayed to the players was impeccable, my friends. Impeccable. Incredible, whatever word you want to use. Insanely talented. We had that offense read like a book. I'll be real. That first quarter, I was starting to get a little worried that they're really going to run it down our throat. That running back in Rutgers is so talented. Oh crap, Manungai. Oh boy, they're going to get him going. They're going to get him going. And we shut his ass down. And if you look at some of those plays, like we had that offense read like a book. It's like, all right, man, go ahead, beat us with your arm. Oh wait, you're not going to. Because 1, you're not talented enough. And 2, we know this offense like the back of our hand. That was I got to give mega props to Tony White and the whole defensive staff. Everyone, even down to the quality control guys. I'll say it all the way down. Everyone deserves credit for that. That was an amazing day by everybody. All right. I don't know how we're going to get into this. Special teams, dog. I wish I had words. That yikes. I don't have words. We didn't attempt a field goal. So like, okay, maybe that got better, but we're bad. We're bad at special teams. Like, and then here's the thing, it's not even just that we're not doing well. It's that I feel like some of the problems are like high school level problems. Like, I don't know. I've said it before. I really like Ed Foley. I love Ed Foley. Ed Foley is a great human being. Ed Foley's been really great to me. I think he's a good football coach. I'll say it. I think Ed Foley's a really good coach. And I've also said I will never come on any show and call for anybody's job because I have been a coach that got fired in a very shitty way. But I'm not going to defend any of the criticisms. That's what I'll say. I don't have any criticisms. The egregious things to me, there's two of them that just blow my mind and frustrate me as a coach, right? Again, I've said I'm not a special teams expert. I don't know. I'm not. I've been a very low level special teams coordinator, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm not good. I'm not going to act like I am. But okay, so we're backed up super far deep. We get to delay a game when everyone in the stadium knows we're punting. This isn't one of those where it's like we're trying to push it back 5 yards for the field position. Like, hey, we're at like the 40. We want to bump it back to the 45 so we can get a good kick. That's real. We're backed up in our own territory here. Everyone knows we're punting. So we take the delay game, and that's already like a Jesus Christ, okay. And then the punt gets blocked for the second time today. Now, Tony White needs to be getting a steak dinner from Ed Foley and Marcus Satterfield, right? But especially Ed Foley. Ed Foley better be taking him out to a steak dinner because if you think the heat's bad right now on him, imagine if those block punts cost us the game. You know what I'm saying? The other really egregious one for me was that Ramir Johnson. So we're lined up for like an recover and onside. So we have nobody blocking. And he catches it and tries to return it to like the 15. Take your fair catch, dog. Take the touchback. And I don't know. I'm not on the field. I don't know. But that's like high school level stuff. That's what bothers me is that it's like high school level stuff. That's what bothers me. And it's just, I don't know. How you don't have someone in the player's ear right before the play, like talking to him saying, hey, we don't have a return. If it's kicked to you, we're going to take the touchback here. We don't. That's what frustrates me. Just high school level bad. We got some real improvement to do there, but overall takeaways of the game. This is a great time to have a bye week, in my opinion. Really good time to have a bye week, right at the midseason point, right after two struggling offensive performances. And the offense, I mean, again, insanely talented, but I don't think I'm breaking news that they've struggled the last 2 weeks. So good bye week. Got some real self-scouting to do. I bet there is a lot of self-scouting going on this week, which is good. Good. I mean, it would have been done anyway, but I think offensively he's got a lot of looking within themselves to do of figuring out what's up. And I think it'll get there. I think we're going to improve the things we need to improve. I think situational play calls can get better. And I think we're going to be in a really good spot. At least I'm praying to God that we end up in a really good spot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. My takeaways, again, are last year's team would have found a way to lose that game, and we freaking won this year. That's my takeaway. So before we get into the BA breakdown today, I want to remind you, if you're an audio-only listener, go check out the YouTube, the BA Coaches Show. That's where you need to be watching these BA breakdowns at because you just don't get the same experience. So go check out the BA Coaches Show YouTube. With that, if you watch Generation Red this past week, you've already seen these. So if you haven't, stick around and watch. If you have watched Generation Red, these are not new plays. These are the same plays I broke down for their show. I just didn't have a ton of time to break down new stuff. So this is the same clips you saw in Generation Red. But hey, if you didn't watch Generation Red, one, what's wrong with you? Go check out Generation Red. They're a great podcast on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts from. But if you haven't checked it out, then here you go. This is the BA breakdown. This defensive play right here, we're going to get a little 2-for-1 special. I'm going to show 2 plays. The first one isn't necessarily a huge schematic thing. This is just, hey, I want to show off some boys making plays. So if we look, we're manned up, and this is important when we pay attention to the second play, but we're going to be completely manned up across the board. 0 blitz, so no help over the top. Everyone's manned up. But look, Nash Hutmacher just goes all the way across. Sorry, I keep clicking play, but the way we're stunting this a little bit and twisting this, so he's going to go behind and make a huge play because what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Is that number 80? What are you going to do about that, buddy? You're going to do absolutely nothing. So he slows this down just enough. I know Nash doesn't make the play, but in these goal line stands, in my opinion, he made the play. This was a brilliant play call. I know Coach Rule said, Tony White made good, not great play calls. I see what he's saying because the players went out and made the plays, but I do want to say this was a great play call. Seeing Nash Hutmacher go in a little twist technique here. But I do also want to point out Isaac Gifford with a perfect form tackle there. The way he has that thing wrapped up. And I know we do have a bunch of other black shirts there, but the way Gifford makes that play is huge. And then I also am going to show the little next play here because I think this was amazing film study by the defensive staff, okay? So again, now they're a little bit more spread out. They're not in the heavy look, right? They're not in the heavy look, so we got different personnel out there too. We are in a complete 0 blitz here, so we're going to be manned up. Everyone's manned up. Everyone that's not manned up is basically coming, right? This was amazing film study to know that, hey, they're going to send motion. We're not going to pass any of the motion off. You're manned up. You're staying with them. There's 2 different things you can do there. I actually think the way we did it was a little bit harder to pull off, but it worked in our favor big time because at the goal line, there is no room for error there. There's no room for error. That's why I want to point out the absolute amazing play. Look at that. The way that he takes off with that motion and reads it perfectly. He reads it like a book. And that thing is shut down. And that, I'll be real, I know this is like a quote-unquote easy tackle. Running full speed with that, you have no room for error. When you're making contact, you got, 3 yards to work with? Like, I'm telling you, if you can make the tackle, but if he drags you for 3 yards, so open field tackle to not give that up full. The way he read that was perfect to me. I love the way this happened. This was also a beautiful play call as well. Defensively, because look, we got this manned up, we got that manned up, but this was beautiful because I think we knew this is where it was going because eyes were red. Because let's be real, as hard as he's coming, if this doesn't just keep going flat, if this for whatever reason goes vertical, we might be in a little bit of trouble there. But stays flat, beautiful tackle. That was a heck of a play. I think Tony White called an amazing game. I mean, obviously, I'm not breaking news there. But this defensive stand at the goal line was things of masterpiece. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. It was beautiful. So I'm going to play both plays for you here. Love it. And that's just such a beautiful form tackle, the way he read that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. For the offensive play of the week, let's be real. This was the offensive play of the week, and I know we're lined up in pump formation, but if you watch this game, you already know what I'm going to break down here, right? This would have worked at basically any portion of the game the way Rutgers plays this. Now, notice a few things. They're bringing pretty much everybody. They have 1 return man back. They're very tight here, so we stay pretty tight. But here's what I want you to pay attention to. Pay attention to these, these corners out here. They do something that is not that uncommon, okay? And they kind of stay in. They kind of keep their eyes on the punter, watching for a fake. They're not doing a ton of blocking here because Rutgers isn't trying to set up a return here. Does that make sense? They're sending so much, guys. They're putting a lot of pressure on, hey, we're going to try and block this kick, and if we don't, we're going to try and fair catch this thing or just not return it at all. That is 100% their strategy there because they're really not even – they're not trying to block these gunners whatsoever. And that's not that's not how I would coach it, but like that's not an uncommon thing. You'll see that across college football where Rutgers made a small schematic error, and I don't think maybe this was by design, maybe it wasn't. Okay. If you're going to play that technique, you got to be like passes 40 here, right? You got to be back up a little bit. We can't be all the way pressed up on the line if you're Rutgers, right? But they are, and that's okay. I don't know if this was a Matt Rule call or an Ed Foley call. Whoever has this drawn up, whoever drew this up and recognized this on film, I want to give you credit. If it's Ed Foley, I want to give Ed Foley credit. Whoever noticed that if it's a quality control guy, I want to give him credit too. Because look at the way, if he's back up, you got more time to react. Right now, if it's a fake, in the way Buschini, takes his first few steps, all that does is hold this corner up a little bit more. That's all it does. Hold him up a little bit more because by the time he recognizes it, it's too late, running full speed. Now, if he was back here, where when I see most teams do this, like Frank Beamer used to do this at Virginia Tech quite a bit, you'd be back a little bit further. It just gives your guys more time to react. Right now, he's already past you and running full speed. You at least have a shot if you're another 5-6 yards back. And I'm not trying to say that as like this wasn't good on our part, because it was. I'm just saying that's how I think Rutgers has messed up a little bit on that. But whoever found that on film, because they said that they've had this play in all week, and they were practicing it at halftime. I think we could have ran this I think we only could have ran it once, but I think we had this at any point in the game. And I honestly think 14-0. I mean, this flipped the field. This stole a possession. So I do just want to give credit, but I had to point out like why this play worked. Beautiful throw. Jalen Lloyd, and I have to be real. God, imagine if that doesn't happen. Imagine if this gets through, man. Jalen Lloyd would still be running. He'd still be running right now. He'd still be running a couple days later. He'd still be going. But I do got to give credit because, honestly, I have to look. Obviously, this is an easier throw. Being right-handed, take it. You don't have to flip your hips. But for whatever reason, we had this guy open too. Like, this is just how Rutgers plays it. But obviously, you're going to throw to the side. That's such an easy throw. You don't got to flip your hips. You literally just fake the punt. Your feet are already set and go. But to me, this was the offensive play in the day. Satterfield had a good day play design, but to me, this was the play of the day, so I love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There it is. That is the BA breakdown. And with that, we are going to get ready to start to wrap up the show. But again, remember, go check out all these other Husker podcasts. I'm going to be making some guest appearances. Don't think I can say where, but I will be out and about. Go check out the Mornings with Sharp and Hanley on Monday. I will be on there talking Husker football. Like always, make sure you follow the BA Coaches Show. If you're not subscribed, subscribe here. Go check out characterchronicles.com. And with that, we are going to wrap it up. I will be back. We might be back over the weekend. I want to start doing some more live shows, like live streaming, because the goal for the BA Coaches Show is to one day be at a spot where it can be a daily live show or a 3 times a week live show. That's the goal with this. I don't know if it'll ever get there, but if I can get to a spot in my life where I'm able to do this 3 times a week live, breaking down film with you guys, that is where the BA Coaches Show wants to be. So we'll see if we ever get there. So we might do some live streaming on Sunday, just talking. So with that, again, make sure you go check everything out. Follow the BA Coaches Show. And as always, GBR and in rule we trust.